You're saying that President Trump doesn't really care much about his meeting with President Moon. Why?
Well, the president's been pretty erratic in his engagement in this issue, right? I mean, he went to Singapore a year ago with all this fanfare, and people were talking about him getting a Nobel Prize and this and that, and he was talking about how North Korea's program was going to be completely, verifiably, irreversibly disarmed and the rest of it. And he really came back from Singapore with very little. And then at Hanoi, he more or less had the same thing. You had sort of a lot of hype and then very little actually on the ground. And the president himself has actually not done a lot of follow through on this issue. He's really sort of pushed it onto subordinates like the Secretary of State. So the president's own sort of interest in this seems to sort of come and go, right? And this is such a big issue, right? I mean, revolutionizing inter-Korean relations would be such a big deal that it would really require a major presidential initiative. Donald Trump needs to get out there and give speeches and talk about what kind of deal he wants and stuff like that. You really need to sort of like rally the public behind this Congress. There's a lot of bureaucratic resistance in the Defense Department and the Washington national security community and stuff like that. You know, the president can do this, but he's got to make a really major effort. And to be honest, he has not. He's relied a lot on his personal relationship with Kim Jong-un.
Bob, I got to ask you, do you realistically expect a third summit to happen, Trump and Kim Jong-un?
I do, primarily for political reasons, which is to say that the president has banked a lot on this. The president's looking at a tough re-election fight next year, and he's really pinned his hopes on North Korea as a foreign policy success, right? We know that he leaned on Shinzo Abe, the prime minister of Japan, to nominate him for a Nobel Peace Prize. So I have the feeling the president wants to do this, even if it doesn't actually turn out, doesn't actually generate much of a result. So yeah, I think there's a political momentum for it.
Robert, this is Sherry in Hong Kong. You just said that President Trump doesn't really care about meeting with South Korean President Moon there. Do you think Kim Jong-un cares to meet with Moon at this point?
Yeah, pardon me. I meant to say that I don't think Donald Trump really is deeply vested in the Korean détente process. I think the president's fine and happy to meet with Moon Jae-in. I think Moon Jae-in has actually learned quite well that the way to get to Donald Trump's heart is to sort of flatter him, right? But I think the real issue is that Moon has sort of limited influence over Donald Trump, right? The American president is not really seeing this from sort of South Korea's perspective, right? This is why he threatened fire and fury and called Moon an appeaser 2 years ago and stuff like that. I mean, Donald Trump is just not that deeply invested in this process, right? And Moon Jae-in and Kim Jong-un, right, has also sort of snubbed South Korea because what he really wants to do is meet with the Americans, right? What he really wants is lots of photographs with him with the American president, right? And so that's why Moon has kind of been in and out of this process. He's been sort of often sort of sidelined because the two players, I think, have minimal interest actually in engaging in South Korea. They're doing this really for other reasons, for publicity. Donald Trump wants, you know, the television coverage and the Nobel and stuff like that. Kim Jong-un wants it for legitimacy purposes back home. I think that's why after 2 years, very little has changed, because I think the players' motivations are really not that related to the issues.
Hi, I'm Emily Tan, and thanks for watching CNBC. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for watching.